Welcome to Valley Viewpoint. I'm Roger Johnson. My guests are Yaakov Bergman, the music director of the Walla Symphony, which is a concert on Tuesday at 7 p.m. at Cordner Hall. And we're looking forward, Yaki, for you to introduce our guests for this special symphony program.
As always, it's a great privilege. And we have a very interesting program tomorrow night. And our star soloist is Sierra Hall. She's one of the most prominent mandolin player, bluegrass, and became a very serious classical musician. And we will have a great taste of her capability, probably already here in this program, I hope. And on my right side is my very dear and old friend, not so old actually, long time friend, Ofer Ben-Amots. A very, very wonderful composer that actually that will be the second time that the Walla Symphony will play his music. You probably remember the klezmer concerto that we did a number of years ago. And that was the first time that we performed his music here, and now we have the privilege of performing tomorrow night his concertino for mandolin and clarinet solo. And unfortunately, we're missing Shannon Scott. She's going to be here too. She's not going to be here, but she's going to play tomorrow night. And it's a really phenomenal piece. And we're so lucky to have Sierra here. It's absolutely fantastic.
And welcome both of you. First time on Valley Viewpoint. I believe, Ofer, this is your first time on Valley Viewpoint.
Yes.
And so both of you being the new guests on this program with Yaakov.
It's the first time in the Valley for you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome. Both first time for here in Walla Walla.
Yep, first time in Walla.
And we have such wonderful liquid sunshine for you to feel.
I'm just soaking it in. Loving it. Gotta love a little rain.
Well, Yaakov, talk about you mentioned the composition tomorrow night. And I should say even tonight, because this will be broadcast as well at 5:30 tomorrow evening, the concert evening. So I'm going to try to make it inclusive of both today and tomorrow's broadcast. One of the news of note mentions is that this composition has some connection with Psalm 148, I understand. Talk to us about that.
Yes. Well, generally the composition is a reflection of Jewish culture. And it has three movements. And the first movement reflects the biblical Hebrew language. So everything that the people will hear has to do with the rhythm of the language. All the Hebrew language is very rhythmic. And when you talk it, if I started talking now with Yaki Hebrew, you would think that we are fighting with each other with swords.
I'd love to hear that.
With swords. But basically that's the nature of the language. It's opposite
it just
from
sounds that way.
Yes, Italian
Not in
sounds
my
like
case,
singing.
because my speaking is much more gentle than his.
Okay.
However, I use the Hebrew text of Psalm 148 as the rhythmic basis for what's happening in the music. So that's why all the strange rhythms
That's cool.
that you're
Yeah, it's very
wondering.
fun to play.
Yeah. And so that is true.
Have you been in on a performance of Ofer's music before?
No, actually, I came to know Ofer because he was looking for a mandolinist to play this piece, and reached out. Somehow, I don't know who gave you my name exactly, but next thing I know, I received an email from Ofer about.
So it all comes through my dear friend Keith Reed, who is the director of bluegrass ensembles at Colorado College. He will arrive
arrive on our set here in the second half.
Momentarily.
And the story is that I've been looking for a long time for a good mandolin player to play. This is a very challenging part. And I approached a few mandolinists, and everybody said, yes, send us the music. And the moment they get the music, I never heard from them again. Either they got the cold feet, or I don't know why, but a mandolinist named Don Rigsby, he said to me, I have somebody for you. She can play it. Sierra Hall. And okay,
Relief
lo
for
and
the
behold,
composer.
we're here now.
Here we are. Well, and part of that is you know, this is very new for me to perform with the symphony. We performed this piece just a week ago in Portland with the Portland Chamber Orchestra, which Yaki's the conductor for. But this is, you know, a completely new experience for me, and I knew it would be a good challenge. I grew up mostly playing bluegrass music and have always been, you know, excited about other genres of music, and have, you know, learned some Bach pieces, but mostly by ear. And so I don't read very well, so when he sent me the score, I didn't realize how hard it was just by looking at it.
Good.
So I said yes, and then I dug
You
in
didn't
and went, wow,
realize.
this is really hard. But it's great. I mean, it's a perfect challenge to, you know, dive into a new experience doing something like this for me. So
You know, we all as artists always strive to stretch ourselves, to expand our, you know, understanding about styles and music, and technically too.
Get the headroom that you would like
You
to
bet,
have.
yeah. And Ofer's music is not very easy to perform to begin with, although it's a phenomenal writing. It's a beautiful writing. And one of the things about Ofer is that he really established his own personal voice as a composer, which is not very often. That it's a great, great compliment to a composer. Sierra is just amazing. I hate to say it in front of you, but but she really played this concerto like she composed it.
Yeah, we usually talk in those terms when the guest is not on the set.
No kidding.
We talk about
But
them when
I cannot
they're
help
not here.
myself in
But-
this case, because I'll tell you, she really plays it. And I guarantee you that I'm sure that Ofer will confirm it. She plays it like she wrote it, like she grew up with it for a very long time. There's a lot of not improvisational, but freedom there, and within a certain proportions. Yeah, then she just, wow, it's in her blood at this point. And what a performance she gave in Portland a week ago. Yeah, and it's very interesting because you say to me last night after the rehearsal that there is a section that actually asks for a little freedom, that you can take your own
Like
time
a
and
cadenza or something.
Yes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Recitative or cadenza, yes.
And but even the more challenging stuff, which is basically playing the first movement, is like Stravinsky Rite of Spring. I mean,
Ooh.
it's constant shift of of meters.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's that
Amazing.
dialogue. It's that
The
dialogue
It's a
animated.
dialogue,
made
yes.
it-
yeah. The dialogue between Sierra and Shannon is just beyond belief. I mean, it's fantastic. And you know, there's so much to be proud of and excited about this because it doesn't happen very often that we play music by a living composer and such exciting music. It's a really very exciting piece.
Well, I would say, if I
Was that
may,
nice to you?
You're so nice to me, Yaki. And I didn't pay you a dime for that. But thank
Wait,
you so
I'm
much.
going to send you the
Yes.
bill.
I want to say that this is an exercise in contrast. There's nothing more contrasting than the clarinet and the mandolin in terms of the nature of instrument. Clarinet is lush and legato and warm, and the mandolin is a cutting into the air sound, but they blend together. Would you say so?
yeah, it's a
And
really
so-
fun pairing.
And then furthermore, this kind of music is supposed to be connecting between people. I mean, Nashville, Haifa, Israel, what's the connection there? But then
Here we are.
through the music, we
Yeah.
connect. And then I think that I'm very thankful to Sierra because through her and through Kit, I got to love bluegrass more and more. And that's why we also have a little surprise. Klezmer goes into bluegrass at the end, and Sierra is going to play that. So we really blend the two styles on stage tomorrow.
Which those styles sound quite different, but at the end of the day, like, you know, part of the rhythmic tendencies, I feel like, I didn't grow up
The
really
energy.
listening to klezmer in any way or knowing much about that style of music, but the energy and the rhythmic tendencies aren't really that different than bluegrass music and the
Yes.
spirit in which they're played, you know, so they...
It's about excitement.
Yeah, so...
There was a request that you play as an introduction of the quality of your instrument the acoustical experience to play some Bach for us.
Well, all right. I'll give a little sampling here.
Okay. A jewel.
Thank you.
Amazing. How did you, I mean, that I just fall in love with that.
Oh, thank
Bach.
you.
There's a story behind why you selected that one. You fell in love with it too, huh? What is
Well,
it? What is it?
Well, you know,
It's a Bach what?
I've had in mind to work on some of the Bach partitas for a little while because you know they're written for violin and mandolin is tuned like violin. You have G, D, A, and E, so the same tuning, only there's pairs of strings, of course, and using the pick, but it makes it a wonderful reading exercise. And as I've kind of listened through some of those, I've just always thought that was a great. So that's part of the D minor partitas for solo violin, and that's the jig.
Oh,
So the first part of the jig.
Thank you.
But yeah, it's just it's such a it's beautiful music, but also challenging music to work on. And as somebody that didn't grow up reading music, and that's definitely been, you know, I've always really played by ear my entire career, so it's always good to try to dig in and put my reading skills to work. So I've kind of been trying to work through some of the Bach pieces along the way.
did you have anyone, Ofer's music, was there something recorded so that you could listen to the piece?
Yeah, thankfully he had this piece played. When was this the recording from?
From 2012 in Geneva.
Yeah.
The
Geneva.
premiere.
Where was the premiere?
Yeah, but we also worked through the software. Remember?
That's right. And so I had the recording of this great mandolinist named Avi Avital.
Avi Avital. Yeah.
Who had performed the piece, so that was a great reference to have because he's a wonderful player. And then also he sent me the finale file, which is like the notation software. So therefore I could go through and play along with the MIDI file, which was extremely helpful for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we have to leave it there for the first half. We're going to have a banjo player join you.
Yeah,
Is that right, for the second half?
That's right. We're going to have the
And
wonderful
so,
Keith Reed.
thank you for joining us on the first half. Stay tuned. We'll have some more music. Welcome back to the second half of Valley Viewpoint. We're talking about the Symphony concert on April 9, and that's at 7 o'clock at Cordner Hall. And we have another musician joining us. I'm going to ask our guest composer to introduce our new guest on the set, joining Sierra. Ofer, talk to us about this fellow.
Okay, I'm so delighted that we traveled together. Keith Reed is a colleague and a friend from Colorado College. So we worked together in the same department. And Keith came to us and started establishing the bluegrass program. And he started from scratch. He started teaching mandolin and banjo and guitar. Oh. And it became tremendously popular among students. And the program grew, and now he has three ensembles that he runs, from beginner, intermediate, and all the way to advanced. And he takes them all over the country to festivals, and they play, and they're all excited about it. and he made bluegrass a focal point of our academic program. So that's why I'm so delighted for him to be here. He will participate both in the concertino, playing in the third movement, and also in the encores, playing with Sierra.
And I always love to know whether you have met before, Keith and Sierra, in any other venues, or is this the first connection?
Well, Keith actually had me come. Well, once I heard from Ofer about playing this piece, you know, I said, sure, I'd love to do that. And then from there, you know, I met Keith through the college, and he had me come, and I've played at a couple events at the college where we've had just, you know, bluegrass bands that he's put together with fellow musicians and friends of ours to do some performances there. So it's definitely been
It's been really fun.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
fun getting to know him over the past couple of years, but it's a rare treat that we get to share the stage together. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and you're sharing the stage right here on Valley Viewpoint as well. And I understand that you have enough music in you that you could delight our television audience
Oh,
on
we'd love to.
behalf of the Tuesday concert of the Walla Walla Symphony.
Sure.
Take your
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just play an old Bill Monroe number. It's called Big Mom. It's in the key of A.
Named after himself,
He named after himself.
Monroe.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Now, apparently you both know the composer.
Well,
From way back?
I never got to know him personally. He's kind of like the Bach of bluegrass music, I
The
would
Bach
say.
of
Yeah.
bluegrass music. I
So,
like
Yeah.
that
yeah.
description. This guy must be really powerful and
Well,
foundational.
you should, you know, he's Professor
Yes.
Reed here. You can give
Well,
him a little bluegrass rundown.
It's really just that, you know, as Bill Monroe really put bluegrass music, he's the one that's kind of the creator of bluegrass music, along with, the band that came along with Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs and Chubby Wise, and they were just a great bluegrass band that played at the Grand Ole Opry and just made a huge impact. But Bill Monroe was pretty much the creator, put it all together, and so.
And he was a mandolin
Mandolin
player
player,
and a composer in his own right. Wrote loads of instrumental tunes like that one that we just played. And
So they're all essential songs that everyone knows in the bluegrass world.
right. So I don't know if we've ever played that tune together, but we really
Well-
don't have to discuss it because it's growing up playing this style of music. Everybody knows this piece of music.
right.
So
That's
it's
what
just
I
like
was-
let's play this tune and you just play it. You know.
That's creativity live on the set. I was going to ask that question.
Yeah.
Had you ever played it together? And the answer is probably
Yeah, I don't think we have.
not.
No.
No.
And
We
that
have.
was a great marriage of music.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Thanks a lot.
And then this composition that we're going to hear at the symphony concert, You know each other, obviously, teaching at the same college.
Yes, we've had a lot of lunches together.
Okay.
He comes down to the office and says, "Do you want to go to lunch?" And I say, "Yeah, let's go to lunch." And we talk about music all the time. It's wonderful. Yeah. And it's just great to be in such a wonderful department that appreciates bluegrass music, you know. And so when he started to put all this together, I was just, you know, thrilled to play and be a part of it. And so.
And Sierra became part of your experience. Had you played before this composition marriage of what we're going to hear tomorrow night? Had you connected at all in the way life is?
She came to my class. We have a class that we do the timeline of bluegrass, and the students learn all of the songs. So we did that. We connected.
That class.
Yes, and so she came and demonstrated, and then we did a concert together. And I brought in other bluegrass musicians, professionals, and we did a concert there. And that was our first start of playing music together.
Well, is there any other music that you might be able to share or talk? Anything that you'd like to say before we have a close of this experience?
Oh, well, I'm just thrilled to get to be here. I mean, Walla Walla seems like, I've been here for a few days now. It seems like just a beautiful little town. I grew up in a little town, so I love the atmosphere of being here.
Little town of?
Byrdstown, Tennessee, so a couple hours northeast of Nashville. But yeah, it seems like just a beautiful place to live that you guys have here, and I'm just thrilled to get to be here and get to play with such a wonderful group of musicians. And, you know, like I said, very new experience getting to play with the symphony, and I'm just thrilled to get to experience that here in Walla Walla with Yaki and Ofer and Keith.
And how many symphonies have you played with?
This will be only the second time ever. The last being last week in Portland with Yaki. So
thank you for adding that. That's great. Well, we're thrilled to be able to kind of inaugurate that
thank you.
phase of your career too. That could end up being many, many symphonies.
You never know. You never know.
And what about yourself, you and symphonies?
You know, I did one other thing, and that was just a country music thing that they had in Colorado Springs, and it was a big symphony with 2 country artists, and they played all of the country music, kind of the hits, and they gave me a book of music that was like this thick too, and I just kind of just like, I'm just going to play the banjo. And so I just played the banjo. They never knew. And so it was really fun. I played guitar and banjo with that, but that was it. Yeah.
Well, we're so glad that you have joined Yaki and Ofer in this experience that we're going to have. And why don't we just close out the whole production? Maybe I'll just again speak to our audience. You're going to hear more music, Ofer's music. The Beethoven number 3, Symphony number 3, to begin this concert, and then we're going to, second half will be Sierra and Keith, Ofer's music, and am I missing anything? Oh yes, the clarinetist.
Shannon.
Oh yes,
Shannon Scott.
Too, and that is Tuesday, April 9, at 7 p.m. at Cordner Hall, and we've got at least 2 minutes. We'll just roll the credits right over. What would you like to do?
Want to hear a little something?
Yeah.
Let's see, why don't we do, you want to do like Somehow Tonight?
Yeah.
Sing a little bit of that
Sure.
yourself?
Key
Kick it off, maybe in D?
Okay. Yeah, sure, that sounds
Again,
good.
this is one we've never played together, but when you grew up playing bluegrass music, we all know the same song, so.